in that Northwest. Coach Benjy Parker, well, we'll start with you, and then you brought a player with us as well. I've got some questions for him also.
Well, we got to talk to you first, though.
Okay.
We had a problem with something we saw out here.
We have a problem.
So we were watching drills out there. You guys got through a beautiful pass. Caught. He's going to walk into the end zone. He stopped at the 20.
Stopped at the 20. Coach, he didn't finish the rep. He
finished the
rep. 20. Well, what's up with that?
We're in leg safe mode right now, okay? We've had a...
That's been my whole life.
Yeah, me too. You didn't see me chasing him, right?
We saw that, of course, sitting here comfortably in the climate-controlled building. We thought, hey, you got to finish that rep. You got to score the touchdown, man.
We got to walk out of the... over there out of the facility. They brought the gate up. No smoke machine for us, but we got to do that. So if you ever want us to lead the team out, you just make the call. We'll be here.
Okay.
Also, some of your offensive linemen got yelled at.
They got yelled at because they were looking. We come out, and the offensive linemen start looking at us, and the assistant coach was like, "What are you looking at?" I was like, he's right. Pay attention.
Jackson Uselton as well, the kicker, joining us. So, Coach, longevity is something that I'm really curious about with you. We talked earlier in the show about Nick Saban, and his greatest attribute as a coach, I think, is adaptation, where the game changed and players changed and he adapted and won. You've done the same thing. How have you done that? Well,
I think, one thing that you have to do is the same thing that Coach Saban did. He recruited well, and he did that his whole career, and at LSU, of course, the national title, and then at Alabama. So our coaches have done a great job of recruiting good players, good quality kids, and that certainly helps. And the game does change, but it all comes back to blocking, getting off a block, making a tackle, throwing the ball, catching the ball. For whatever scheme you run, it comes back to that. And we try to be fundamentally sound and have good players doing it. And our coaches do a great job with that.
I mentioned it to Gary, but, we talk a lot of SEC on this show and how competitive that conference is.
Yeah.
You know a little thing about being in a competitive conference. Yeah. Why is the football here in Mississippi so good at the community college level?
Well, number one, there's a lot of good players in the state. I can't remember the exact number of that kind of stuff, but on the internet site a week or so ago, I saw the number of people that were on active rosters from states, and I think per capita Mississippi had more people in the NFL right now than anybody else. You know, for being a rural state like we are, we there's a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches. That's why the league's really good.
Is this team that you've got this year capable of winning another national title?
Oh, I don't know about that. We got a tough Pearl River team coming in here. We're far away from being a national champion, I can tell you that.
We got this message on our text line from Brandon. I think it's Ciara Mitaro. I hope I'm saying that correctly. He said, former player here, Coach P is the best.
Brandon Cimitaro.
Cimitaro, thank you. Sorry, Brandon.
So I did coach Brandon back in the day, and then I left and went to Troy, and Brandon went to Arkansas State, so we got to play against each other. And great kid, tough kid, and he's the best.
So, Jackson, on the kicking front, other positions in football, like defensive line, yes, there's pressure, but you line up the ball snap, you just go hit somebody. I know it's more nuanced than that, Coach, but with you, what you do, it's, a game on the line, it's all riding on you, and it's not you just get off a snap and go pop somebody. It's the precision and the attention. How do you prepare yourself for that kind of a moment where, hey, clock's got 3 seconds left, your team's down by 2, and it's completely up to you to put the ball through the uprights, and if not, your team loses. If you do, you're the hero. How do you do any special preparation beyond just practicing kicking the football?
To be honest, I just kind of like to just clear my mind, try to not focus on it at all, honestly. The less you think about it, the better, in my opinion.
So, like the movie, he probably won't recognize this reference.
I know where you're going, though.
For the love of the game.
Yeah, Clear the Mechanism.
Clear the Mechanism. Or he just, it's a baseball movie. He blocks literally all of the noise out somehow in his head. So that's what you do. You just focus on just clearing your mind completely. You don't even think about it.
Yes, sir.
Step up and kick the ball if you know how.
I can't hear anything when I'm out there on the field. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
No, sir.
So you don't have anybody like with bells ringing next to your helmet or something in practice? You don't need that?
Coach Parker's done that to me last year. I did bark in my ear real loud, and that threw me off. I'm not going to lie.
When you think about being a kicker, at a team like this, especially where you know that there's always going to be points, you always got to be ready to go on the field because this is always been a high-powered offensive kind of team. You know, as a kicker, do you look at that and you go, I might get a lot of field goal opportunities because I think we're going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns. Well, what was the recruiting process to bring you here to Northwest?
Well, Coach Parker here, he recruited me pretty hard, and he brought me to the facilities and everything. It's a great place here. I'd say it's basically like a D1 facility, just smaller, of course, for the team.
Agree.
And, yeah, that's a big part of it. There's good academics here. It's also close to my house. But
Where'd you go to high school?
Hernando.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So just down the road.
Yeah.
Coach, we've spent a lot of time this offseason talking about how everything's changing in college sports, and it is, and rapidly. It's hard to keep up with. It's changing so much. How has the advent of the transfer portal at the FBS and FCS level impacted you and what you do and how you recruit and maybe how you develop players even to leave this place and go on to those kind of schools? What has changed for you in that regard?
Yeah. You know what? I was asked that a week or so ago, and if there's a guy in the portal that fits us and we have a need there, we'll recruit him and that kind of stuff. But as far as affecting our players going on, I don't think it's affected us at all because we've still had 16, 18, 20 kids sign Division I scholarships in December or May.
Awesome.
and move on.
Awesome.
And we've been able to do that every year. So, and that's why you come to Northwest is to get a degree and move on to a 4-year school and sign a Division I scholarship. And our guys have been able to do that. So I don't see it's a big deal for us right now.
That's really encouraging to hear because the one thing when we would talk about this, our audience would say, well, what does this mean for junior colleges? Is this going to harm or even high school players? Is this going to harm them? Is this going to take opportunities away from junior college kids? Hearing you say that, it's not really that much different because here at Northwest we're still sending guys up to that level anyways. Really encouraging.
Well, and you know what? There's a lot of Division I coaches, some that I've talked to, that they'll take several kids out of the portal, and it may not work out for them at that school, okay, for whatever reason, all right? And they've said, you know what? I'd rather have a JC kid. And next year we're going to focus on a lot of JC kids instead of that, you know. So our guys come in and they're hungry. They appreciate being there. So I think that's one reason they want them on their team, you know.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with the college coaches around here, with Jeff Lebby, Lane Kiffin, and maybe some other guys in the SEC?
Yeah, well, I don't know them very well. I know of them. So I would think we have a good relationship. You know, we've had kids go to both schools and that kind of stuff. And as far as the SEC goes, you know, we communicate. All the SEC schools have recruited all of our kids.
I saw the wall in there.
Yeah, and
a lot of names on that wall, Coach.
I was trying to think of guys since I've been here, and you go back a few years prior to me and even back to Coach Franklin. I bet we've represented every SEC school out there. You know, I know we've had several since I've been here. You know.
By and large, when you think about this football program and the success it's had through the years, is there one factor for you as a coach that you think this is my non-negotiable? This is the one thing that, if nothing else, my football program is going to have this?
Well,
besides a lot of wins, of course.
Yeah. Well, I would like, you know, when somebody mentions our program, our team, I would like for them, there's several things. I would like for them to say they're a class act, they practice sportsmanship, they're tough, they're disciplined. That's the kind of stuff we look for. We want to do it the right way and recruit good kids, and our coaches do it like I mentioned how they recruit, and they do, and they recruit the right way. You know, we try to sell Northwest, and we got a great product here, and so that's some of the things that we look for, you know. I wouldn't just say it's just one thing that we do. There's several.
Jackson, as an expert opinion, I need to hear what you think about this. There's a kicker in the NFL named Charlie Smith. Are you familiar with him?
I know of him, yes.
He's with the Saints. Now, he's going to be on their practice squad because he's coming from Ireland, and he doesn't need to kick right away. But last year was the first time he's ever kicked a football in his life. And in warm-ups before their preseason game, he was hitting from 66 in warm-ups, clearing the ball from 66.
Yes, sir.
How can you describe how hard that is for somebody to do?
I mean, to do that consistently, it's really hard. You got to be like a very certain type of person to be able to do that. I'm sure he has some sort of soccer background or something now.
Yeah. Did you play soccer?
Yes, sir, I
What's
did.
the biggest difference between kicking a soccer ball and a football?
Oh, gosh. Everything,
Can
honestly.
you tell us in 30 seconds the difference?
One ground and one up.
Ruined my soccer career. I'm not going to
Really?
lie. I started flying the ball every time. Yes, sir.
Coach Jackson, thank you guys so much
Thanks
for your
so
time.
much.
Good luck this season. This was awesome. We're so
Appreciate
glad
what
to
y'all
be
do.
here.
Y'all do a great
Thank you
job.
very
Thanks
much.
for having us.